Welcome back. Uganda, agriculture and Africa generally, agriculture is the backbone of the economy. Yet, our concentration in enhancing this economic activity seems not to be doing the best. And specifically Uganda, we are being outcompeted by other countries. I like the way how the truth came out, and it's the fact. You look at our tomato, you compare it to that one which is coming from Kenya. We are already having a serious question. My brother, Mr. Paul Rukundo, enlightened us on how our pineapple, which is just, you can easily find the field, does not match the standard of the pineapple required to be exported to Malaysia. The other day there was a question of maize, the export of maize and dairy products, some of our neighborhood countries. At times we will try to quarrel and think that maybe they are against us, but my colleagues here are saying it is a reality our products are wanting. We continue with our discussion and coming towards the close of our program. There are pillars which matters if one is to enhance commercial agriculture. One is agricultural financing, agricultural input supply chain, agricultural credit, and agricultural education, which you are dealing with this evening, agricultural research and technology. And there's also a contentious one which I'd like you, dear guests, to come in, conservation and sustainable use of plant genetic resources for food and agriculture. I'm also one of the people in this contention. When you bring a chicken, there is a certain evening when I was going to have a meal at home, of course, and they said, no, this one we have bought it from the fridge, from, they are selling it, and they say the kilograms at this amount, even lower cost. But of course, me, I like the original, our own, which is the indigenous, which is not having these chemicals and so forth. There is a contention in that regard, and people want also to know how we can bridge that gap. Please welcome back. Let me first have you, but I would like to first have you on that issue, because above all you are a chemical engineer, person expert who may raise the fears of the people in this discussion.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for that. It's true. The GMO issue is very contentious. Now it's actually a bill in Kenya. Kenyan government wants to pass the bill to promote the genetically modified organic products, and we personally, I would give my own view on the perspective that for the East African community, because you see the acceleration of bringing these GMOs would be meaning that you're lucky. For example, to ensure that maybe you would need to if you need chicken, you have to have a GMO that you produce maybe in 2 weeks you get.
But they say they have challenges.
When I would say that the indigenous products are very good, and we must promote them, because when we're in these markets, we need to look at the comparative advantage. For example, if you have maybe the Ankole cow and they say the milk is so nutritious, or maybe you have the chicken that is indigenous, it is the best, and the Americans are looking for that. So I think, in my own view, we should first invest in what we have, to ensure that we explore what we have. If we fail, then when we can go and borrow, because how will we compete with Chinese who are producing the same chicken? How will we compete with maybe the Americans if you're having maybe the same mangoes? And now, I'm not a crop scientist, but I hear that maybe there is a possibility of an extinction for these products, that the ones we have in future you find there are no more. Maybe our great grandkids will not know them. So I've seen in Rwanda, they have put an office to maybe look at conservation of the indigenous products. Uganda, recently I saw the president also appointing someone maybe to focus on indigenous cows, which it was contentious. But I think the shift is from maybe the outside world who are pushing to ensure that we have these products. But I believe we have even failed to invest in what we have. So why would we again rush to borrow? But this is something that we can discuss. Since I'm not an expert in that field, maybe one day someone can prove me wrong. But I believe the EAC at the moment excuse me, can promote through the East African Science Bioeconomy Strategy. They can promote the activity, the indigenous crops. We have seen in the pharmaceutical world that our bio-based solutions are working for us. So why can't we first concentrate on, because I believe in trade, it is just focusing on what you know best, comparative advantage, and you focus on that rather than touching here and there, and at the end of the day you end up nowhere.
You've gone into a good point.
So
what, according to the 7 states that are known to you, I would like to know which enterprises a country is having a competitive advantage against the other, if you are able to recall each either state, and also what you could encourage or motivate the citizens who are following us, because this is a station that is viewed. The other day we were in Kenya, Nairobi. It goes as far as Tanzania, Southern Sudan. What they can concentrate in doing best, because you realize successful countries which have succeeded in commercial agriculture, it depends on what you do best. Yes, please.
Thank you so much. We have seen for the part of Uganda that we can do very well on coffee.
Mm-hmm.
We can do very well on milk production. We have an advantage of the palm oil, because you see our land is a bit different from maybe if you can compete with the DRC, but those are the things we can focus on. Then the Tanzanians, what they have and you cannot take out from them are the cashew nuts that they are having. The Tanzanians are very good at cocoa. It's there, and they are promoting it. Kenyans are very good on tea, milk production. They are into beef, and for South Sudan, they have been trying to promote, I think, the vegetable growing, I think, in Juba, and to the areas around the Nile Basin area. Of course, you know that they have been having one-sided economy of oil, but they are now trying to diversify and to go into, first of all, they are into beef, bull fattening, and that they are going into fishing, and also vegetable growing. So I think that one can also work for them. For Burundi, they have now they have tea, that is for sure, and they coffee. So these ones are doing it, and I think they can also look at how they can do value addition to ensure, because of recent in Burundi, the president had invited us, and they were looking at how best can they make young people have agriculture and invest in poultry, because we found out that a tray of eggs is almost 20,000 in Burundi, and they are importing eggs from Kigoma, that is in northeast of Tanzania. So the government is saying we want to focus on they have brought in hatcheries to ensure that they promote this poultry in their country. Then for Rwanda, we have seen they have shifted into the agro technology. The Rwanda, I think they are the ones who have brought. They are using technology to do irrigation. They are doing rice growing, and they are using technology to do irrigation. And actually, President Kagame had even banned bringing in agricultural products which they can actually produce by themselves. He said we can do, because Rwanda originally.
So how is he going to manage the
current
trend where now we're talking about free movement of goods?
That is when of course that is when there was an issue of the border closure.
Mm.
You know, we had issues when Rwanda had closed borders with Uganda and Burundi. So they had brought it as a solution for them to do that.
By the way, on that point a bit, we analyze. There is a challenge. In business, the good thing we have an economist here, there is what we call consumer protection. And the consumer protection of where our country, we seem to be much more practicing economic liberalism or liberalization of our economy that does not protect our producers, our local producers here, and how to compete it unnecessarily, even what we're able to produce. In the gears to promote commercial agriculture, the moment our producers are not protected, remember we don't even have the cooperatives. In terms of the pricing, we are just vulnerable. Our farmers are vulnerable. They go to produce, 1 kilogram of your maize, you can find it's being outcompeted, you are even selling it at 100, 200. And that demoralized our farmers. In your networks, do you see this as a challenge and how can it be solved? You answer, and that will be your last point.
Thank you so much. Like what I said, we need to focus on the comparative advantage. You've seen that wherever they go, now Fred, I'll give you an example of matoke, the bananas. There are no bananas in Kenya. You get?
There are no bananas.
There are no bananas in Kenya. The bananas that are in South Sudan, I think you can even count on your finger. The DRC. Now I'll give an example of beef.
Use just minutes.
Okay. I'll give you an example of beef. I've told you that DRC is exporting beef from Brazil. You get it? So there is no way how if we focus on that particular market that those guys don't have, will be better. You will know that if we go maybe on like this, the people in Rwanda, we are getting our brown nuts. They were importing our Irish potatoes from Kigezi. So we need to see that we also focus on comparative advantage. But where that one is one factor, another one, I agree with you that we have to protect our local farmers. We can give them incentives. You've seen, of course, when we are promoting the integration, but there is that thing that the local people can also do, and the government support them to ensure that there are some incentives where maybe some products are not okay. They may not stop those products, but ideally they can give them a certain incentive to ensure that they run their business very well. Since we are in the common market, of course, we must ensure that we agree to what we signed to, and we work as a block. So maybe we need to sit and harmonize our data and see where can we trade well and where are we lacking, to ensure that at least we do well. And maybe that one, you have to also focus on the issue of we have to focus on the issue of standards, like what my comrade was saying, Rukundu, that if you don't produce a good product, you're already knocking yourself out.
You're already knocking yourself out if you're not producing good products.
So you said I should conclude.
Your last word.
My last word, first of all, is to thank you so much. It has been an amazing show, and to give us this platform. It was so wonderful, and maybe a call to action for the young people out there, or the whole of East Africans, that let us look at how we can be a productive economy, not a consuming economy. When you move out there, make sure you focus on having a product on the market, and when you have that product on the market, ensure that you promote consumption of the buy East Africa, build East Africa, because we are one people with one destiny. I thank you so much. I wish you all the best and a good night, all our viewers.
Happy to be with you, Jack, to see me, and you continue preaching that gospel and cause a transformation among the youth. I would like to give you my dear colleague Paul Rukundo 1 to 2 minutes to give us your last word of inspiration on how we can raise the dream of commercial agriculture that can be a motivator of this economy, so that it can rise up the GDP to a higher percentage of export trade that can no longer be below 17%, but maybe 50% of our export.
Thank you so much, Doctor. To our fellow young people out there, I will add on the voice of my colleague Jack that the East Africa that we are pushing for, the integration that we are pushing for, provides a market of close to 300 million people, which is the anticipated population of the entire region. And this is a market that whatever you are producing can be consumed by this particular market. And now that we are actually expanding it to the continental level, the entire Africa, so you have a market of close to 1 billion people. So whatever you are producing there will have a market within the region, within the continent, and then there is also opportunity of exporting it to international markets. So let's, like the way Jack said, let's try to have something that we produce. Be it, in every sector, have something that you are producing for this market that is opening up to us. Because when we are talking about, the GMOs and the organic, I want to tell our viewers that the competitive advantage we have is that our products are organic, and it's very important because our pineapple, for example, on the international market, it is said to be the sweetest pineapple at global level. But how many pineapples can we send there? They are not there. So the problem is not the taste of our pineapple, but the production of that sweet pineapple multiple times. So if you can achieve that, then we shall take over the entire market, both regionally and globally. So let us really push the integration to come into place. Let us push our leaders to implement actually the ratified agreements. If it is common markets and we are pushing for a movement of goods and services, let our goods cross to Rwanda, let our goods freely cross to Kenya, let our goods freely cross to DRC. Otherwise, I really wish you well, and I thank you for watching us.
When are you forum, the ongoing forum, when are you closing your conventional conference?
We are closing tomorrow, and we are supposed to host the president of this country. We shall be at Kororo, and he will give us, the closing remarks for our forum. And yes, and he will be awarding the winners who will be selected among the member states. And I also want to urge young people out there that check out for us, the network, join us. So if we have these opportunities, we can also provide a platform for you to showcase what you're doing, and also be part of it.
For those who want you to give them business for avocados and the pineapple.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity to actually give out my contact. It is 0779 09 91 01.
Wow, thank you for the dear viewers. One of the last words which was inspiring myself is, and you outside there, have something you are producing. Don't be much more of a consumer, because the moment you encourage much more consumption, you will not have it best. Thank you.